what are the metrics they need to think about to drive workflow efficiency and effectiveness? Is it turnaround time? Is it profitability? Is it this or that? Like, what are the top, 2 or 3 metrics that you really recommend from a workflow perspective to know if they're going on the right track? We'll start with Jeff, and then we'll bring in Damien, and I'll give my thoughts, and then we'll wrap up by letting everyone know where they can go to connect with you guys.
Great. Well, I think, I like a broad range of metrics, but when we're talking about workflow, for me, profitability is a big one, but generally I'm more interested in some way of measuring customer satisfaction. And so I think turnaround time is the one generally I would focus on first. And my advice to most people who are just starting out or looking at this, focus on turnaround and only turnaround until you've got that to where you think it should be. And once you've got that consistency, then you can start to look at things like profitability. I'm a big fan of ranking clients. That's a different metric exercise. But the other thing would be looking at your conversion from prospect to client. How many meetings does it take you to get a new client? Out of 10 new prospects that you talk to, how many become a client? Average fee per client is another one I use, but again, until you've got the turnaround time, I like to think you want to just focus on that one thing and grow that area and improve it. Then you can start to add more metrics. The other thing I'll say is don't go crazy with metrics. Accountants I know love numbers, love things they can calculate, so they'll do a lot of metrics and they'll think, well, if 1 is good, 100 is great. You don't want to overdo the metrics because you spend all your time doing metrics rather than actual work.
Yeah, Damien, what have you seen from the metric standpoint?
I like Jeff's comment there of focusing on one. What I'd probably try to do is have an internal metric and then an external metric. And I think turnaround time is a good place to start because I think most accounting firms have the system in place to track that from just a timekeeping standpoint. We obviously won't get into time and billing, but certainly from a timekeeping standpoint and effectiveness, I would go with turnaround time from an internal standpoint, and that's a really great place to start. And once we've done that, we can then move on to other metrics. Externally, be brilliant if we could get like an NPS system in place. That does require understanding the NPS and having a mechanism by which to understand that net promoter score. But if we went before that, we might even just say from an external metric, referrals. Are we happy with the number of referrals coming in from our current clients? And if we're not happy, that might be a metric to indicate there's a level of dissatisfaction amongst our current customer base. So I would look for an internal metric that's easy to track, which would be turnaround time, and an external metric, which might actually be referrals from current clients.